What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and today I am talking about the latest offering, the long-awaited offering from Tennessee-based brutal death metalers Brodequin with Harbinger of Woe. This also comes out on March 22nd, this time on Season of Mist Records, Season of Mist's Underground Activists, their subsidiary. And this is their first album in about 20 years. So this one, I can tell in terms of brutal death metal fans, this was highly anticipated. Now, full disclosure, this is the first time I've ever checked out this band, Brodequin. Then again, when it comes to brutal death metal, I'm kind of picky about the type of brutal death metal I like. I like it either really technical or really groove-laden. Not so much on the slammy craze or that kind of brutal death, where it goes more into slam death metal. Whereas here with Brodequin, they are going for some rather technical chaos on here, like pretty much across the board. This entire album is filled to the brim with technical riffs, tremolos that just sound absolutely disgusting, and blast beats that will make even someone like George Callias blush, I'll even admit. And it starts right out of the gate with Diabolical Edict. In that song, there's some catchy riffs that pop up, but with the blast beats, kind of gives it a bit of a Cryptopsy feel, which Cryptopsy, I would say, is a big, comparison point on a good chunk of this album. But then you get some double time stomps that pop up, and even a doomy breakdown. Not so much slammy, more doom-laden. Then to Fall of the Leaf, this one definitely gets more on the tech death side of brutal death metal, I would say, almost in the vein of what we checked out yesterday with Hideous Divinity. Although there's some more groove pockets that come up here, and I will say a lot of these groove pockets almost give me a bit of a Suffocation kind of feeling to it, which is always a welcomed addition because, after all, Suffocation's the godfather of brutal death, so why not take some cues from that band? And even on Fall of the Leaf, it gets almost thrashy towards the end. Now, this next one, and I've been trying to pronounce it, God damn it, I am so bad today, Therasiana. There we go, Therasiana. This one definitely feels like they were trying to combine Nile, technical precision, the insane speed of Cryptopsy, and the groove of Suffocation, and mix it together with some atonal riffs that kind of get peppered in here and there. Of Pillars and Trees, this one kind of brings in almost some aborted elements to it, where it just gets almost grindy at times, and even balancing chugs and tremolos pretty well with more double time rhythms that come up, and even, dare I say, faint melodies, which this is one of the only times on the album where you're going to hear any kind of melody at all. And there's even a cool, notable tremolo riff towards the end. Then Tenau Lament. This one, as well as the following track, Maleficum, or Maleficum. Nah, whatever. But I have a hard time pronouncing some of these names. These titles I don't see very often. But Tenelement and Maleficum, those two songs kind of have more sinister nature, have a more sinister bite to the guitars and the riffs, I would say. Apologize if I'm stumbling everywhere. I'm just still really tired. I don't know why, but I just am. So forgive me if I screw up a lot and tongue twist myself. But yeah, these two songs, like I said, there's more of a sinister bite to it. And with Maleficum, that song has, again, more atonal riffs that come up, as well as some of the more catchy tremolo riffs that you're going to hear. Same with the following track, V-Nails. That song is just filled to the brim with killer tremolo riffs. Vreden's Dag, I think I got that right. That one, again, bringing in more thrashiness to it, but with blast beats and tremolos of darkness. but bringing back some suffocation groove, easy for me to say. And then speaking of suffocation and Ash, that song for the most part was on the double time side with the rhythms, and not so much about blasting, and there's more machine gun riffs happening in there, and it even gets doomy towards the end. And then the closer, the title track, this one kind of almost gets to the levels of Hate Eternal when it comes to just how visceral it gets. But it does get a little breakdown heavy towards the end, but there's some cool dissonance to go on top to kind of add some atmosphere on top. So yeah, for the most part, like I said, this album is just, if I could describe it in one word, chaotic. It's just all over the place. And I feel that's part of the reason why this album doesn't quite grab me in every song. It's because it's like, it's just going for unbelievable ferocity when it comes down to the blazing speed, these crazy riffs, and blast beats. Although they do try and intermingle some groove to break up the speed, but I feel like this album was kind of formulaic. It's all about, okay, let's just go for insanity, then we'll slow it down, and then finish off with some more insanity. And I feel like it's kind of a rinse and repeat all throughout this album, and therefore some of the riffs can kind of sound very similar or run into one another. And also, of course, the vocals. I know vocals are typically a dividing line for fans into brutal death metal, but I like the more guttural vocals on here. They kind of remind me a little bit of early Joe Ficek from Broken Hope a little bit, so I was able to appreciate the vocals on here. But overall, production-wise, it might have been just a notch cleaner than I was expecting. Like, I was expecting it to sound gritty and raw and nasty, and it can sound like that a little bit, but I feel like given the modern production techniques going on here, it does kind of take away from the more raw aspect I was thinking I was going to get with this. But overall, this is still a pretty solid album. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. I think there's some good moments on here, but again, it's all about chaos is what this album is all about. So if you're a fan of bands like, I would say, Disgorge, Defeated Sanity, Cryptopsy, and maybe even Nile, check this out. There's some moments you might appreciate. But of course, those are just my thoughts. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that. Thanks for watching. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.